Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Planetary Pull at Big Planet Comics. I'm your host H, and this is the Planetary Pull for December the 17th. Before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to the guys here at Big Planet Comics for their donation for Toys for Tots last week, which got over to Santa Claus and some of the elves over at Union Station. It's going out all over the place for the nice little boys and girls. And just want to say, if you're near some place or if you have a workplace that's taking in donations, if you have any gently used or unopened toys, please make sure you drop off because you're going to make some kids very happy for Christmas. So let's get started talking about some books this week. And the big pick that was pretty much just tossed in my hand, said read it when I walked in the door, was Multiversity Lightningworld Adventure. Excuse me. And as you can see on the front cover is Shazam, and I can tell you like this, honestly, with what's been going on in DC, hasn't been a lot of Shazam. I mean, we've gotten him in some of the back pages of Justice League early on. He's been featured throughout Justice League, but you're hard-pressed to find any current books. So this book right here was pretty good. It's about Dr. Sivana, who seems like he's found the ultimate way to stop Captain Marvel and the Marvel family. He brings about his own family to stop him by throwing in an extra day of the week, something that some of us could use as long as we're off. But the big thing is with this one is it's a fun adventure. You're not really required to know what's going on in Multiversity. It's a fun romp, and there's a lot of fourth wall breaking here. It's not on the scale of like Deadpool, but it just requires you to suspend a little bit of your belief as you read the book. Thought it was a pretty good pickup this week. Make sure you check this out. Next up is issue number 37 of Batman and Robin. Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason is on this book. And I think this is probably one of the other most underrated titles that's going on in DC right now. It's been a pretty solid run. So in this one, Batman faces off with Darkseid on Apocalypse. The fight ensues. And all I can say is the ending, it ended. It's not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's kind of in between. It's pretty much what I expected. And all I can say is just check it out, and we'll see how it progresses from there. But pretty much Batman went there and he got what he was looking for. And he got more than what he expected. But pretty good, solid issue as well. Next up we have is Ms. Marvel number 10. G. Willow Wilson and Adrian Alphona. And this book, as always, is a pretty solid title. And more or less the same thing. Kamala also has her hands full fighting the inventor. She's trying to convince the kids that she's found that they're being brainwashed. And you just have to see how it works out. But always, this has been a solid title. It's a fun title. It doesn't try to go over top of your head. It just comes right at you. And this is probably one of the more action-packed titles that's been in this series so far. Of course, we get some more Lockjaw. Very fun. Pick this up as well. Last but not least, I got one more. Moon Knight number 10, Brian Wood and Greg Smallwood. Last issue, we saw Mark Spector taking a couch trip, and in that couch trip, he got a suggestion to go off and go kill someone. So what winds up happening in this particular issue is Moon Knight, under the hypnotic suggestion, convinces someone else to go do the dirty work for him. So pretty good setup. I could say honestly, this kind of was a rather fast read, but the ending wasn't quite what I expected. I mean, it seemed like it was a point A to point B kind of a book, but when you get to the end, I'm just like, oh, okay. Another underrated title in Marvel Comics right now, Moon Knight. Brian Wood's on this book. Check this out. Now, last but not least, Spider-Woman. Dennis Hopeless and Greg Land, issue number 2. Kind of mixed about this book, as not exactly a big fan of Greg Land, but I have to say, for this particular issue, the art was pretty decent. Premise of this book is pretty much in Loom World, Spider-Woman finds out that she has a doppelganger that is, just as it entails, is a complete opposite of who she is. And not to mention, this particular doppelganger is also working with the inheritors. So she's trying to delve back and forth to find out what's going on, and also find Silk. And Silk is still one step ahead of the brother-sister team that chases her, and they finally find a place where they can't go. But the question is, where Silk ends up, how long will she last there? Again, if you've been following the whole Spider-Verse, this more or less fits in. Can't necessarily say whether or not this is a must-read, but it's just an interesting side note if you really need to know what's going on with this trio between Spider-Woman, Silk, I'm sorry, not trio, the foursome, because there's two that got left behind. But if you wanted to really find out what's going on that side of things, this is a pretty good pickup. Again, not a big must, but if you really have to know all the aspects of Spider-Verse, definitely check this out. So that's pretty much going to do it for me, but I must say this week the last Hobbit movie comes out. I got a chance to check it out. It was really, really excellent. Make sure you go see it. The one thing I can say that I was really surprised about was the film's length. It's probably, out of all 6 of Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and Hobbits film, it's definitely the shortest. It gets to the point, it does what it needs to do, and it takes you home. And I can tell you this, spoiler, it takes you right in to the Lord of the Rings. Check it out, and we'll see you again on the Planetary Pull.